Shears left, pulls up, looking for the lead, and got it. Jalen Williams, 2 seconds, 1:11:109. Now SGA, probing, piercing, spinning, hanging for the lead, and SGA knocks it down. The Thunder finally get the defensive stop, and SGA puts them in front.
I'm Kenrich Williams. You're listening to Topic Thunder.
Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Topic Thunder podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Hunzinger at Thunder Chats. We are part of the B-Lead Network, and this podcast brought to you by BetOnline.ag. Now that's out of the way, I just got to say, Luka, Koopa Troopa, Thunder and 5. That's all I gotta say.
I'm talking about the man on the Lakers.
We got back to our winning ways tonight against the Los Angeles Lakers, avenging one of the worst performances of the season, if not the worst performance of the season. And we are going to talk about it with my co-host. First of all, we got, I guess, to the south of the stream here, we got Alex Roig coming to us live from the Batcave. Alex, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good.
Oh wow, that was
We're moving. We're grooving.
We're moving, play it.
We're moving. We got a lot to talk about. A lot in the NBA happened. Let's get going.
And to the left of me, we got to the tyrannical one. We haven't seen Tierney in a little bit. Tierney, how you doing?
Good. Also, gonna keep it short. Let's keep it rolling.
Awesome.
We have a game to talk about. Freaking coach got fired. Jaws doing all sorts of crazy stuff. We have things to talk about. We don't have a lot of time. It's gonna be a packed episode.
All right, let's get into it. The Thunder beat the Lakers 136-120. It was a convincing bounce-back effort, and for the first time in a long time, I don't think we've done one of these in a while, but let's do a single large item tonight on the game, boys. So, single large item for the Thunder-Lakers game, and I'm going to go ahead and just be selfish here, and I'm going to take the low-hanging fruit because we're all going to talk about him. It's all fine.
Sure.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, man. 42 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 block, and only 1 turnover. And this has been a constant for the last few games for Shai. Is his assists have been piling up and his turnovers are staying down. His assist turnover ratio recently has been really good. The scoring tonight was on another level. Like it was like the peak of Shai's powers like we've seen this season. It was 14 of 26 from the field, 5 of 9 from the three-point line. Like 5 of 9 from the three-point line, over 50% from the three-point line on high volume. That's what I love to see that. Like if Shai's doing that in the playoffs, forget about it. It doesn't matter who you got guarding him. As we saw tonight, made multiple defenders just like give that brother a map, made Brandon Goodwin touch earth. I saw – there's a nasty freeze frame of Brandon Goodwin, like actually touching earth. People's like, had brother doing the downward dog. He was bowing to the king. Like the memes are flying. It's amazing. But yeah, man, Shai, like if this is the last competitive game we play in the regular season, and it's the last home game that we'll play this season, Shai sent it off in miraculous fashion, put the punctuation mark on the MVP race. Like it is over. It is dead. It's been over, and it's even more over now. Shout out Shai. Shai is the MVP, and he showed that tonight.
And he hasn't gotten his coach fired.
No, that's
Famously.
a big plus. Big plus. Yeah. I was telling you guys before, or I guess I was just telling Dylan, but I had the game on the TV, but I was trying to figure out my taxes because we have like a week left, and I cannot stress enough how annoying and overly complicated it is. So I was kind of locked in on that, but I did get to the last like 6 minutes of the game and saw some of what he was doing towards the end of that game. And I mean the 5 threes is what stuck out. The turnovers, keeping those down. I think we were like plus 12 as a team in turnovers for today. That's what you need. That's like the bread and butter of the team overall, is like forcing turnovers on one end and not turning them over on offense. And Shai was a big part of that. So I don't want to pretend like I saw any specific details because I was only able to really focus on the last bit of the game. But from what I saw, it's been locked up. We all know it's been locked up for MVP. But if you needed one more notch in the belt to really convince you this was the game.
Yeah, I think so. The last couple games he's come out, the Rockets game and the Lakers game to begin. He's come out and he's been more, I don't want to say passive, but he's been a little bit more like, let me pass it to my teammates, let me let them get the offense going. This game, from the jump, he came out and he was aggressive offensively. He was driving to the basket. He was almost daring the Lakers to play defense on him in the interior without getting a foul call. Like, he was that much more aggressive. And I think it set the tone for the rest of the game. I think it set the tone for the Thunder as far as offensively. They were able to stick with the Lakers, who, for all intents and purposes, were humming there. It was basically a continuation of the first game.
Yeah.
They're in the second half. They're in the first half of this second game. I think they matched the 15 threes in the first half. Yeah, I think it was, they matched their record. They tied their record in this game. And that's a little bit worrying if you are a Thunder fan and you are just, completely sticking on to the fact that we're a great defense. And, Luka, LeBron, Austin freaking Reeves, continued to do this in the second game. We were a lot more better offensive in this game. But defensively, we still had a lot of the same kind of issues we've had over the past, 2 or 3 games. And so that's something to look out for. Maybe when we head to the playoffs, I doubt these last 3 games are going to actually show us anything. But yeah, I think Shea came out. He was a lot more aggressive, and I think it set the tone for the team moving forward in this game.
Yeah, the overall game and sort of how it was played, and I agree with you, Alex. I think it played more into what the Lakers wanted as opposed to what we wanted to do. And you're not gonna, if you're in a playoff type of situation or quasi playoff situation, you wanna have control of the game. And Dort also was on fire at the beginning, so that kind of helped even the treacherous waters there where it was a little bit close. And that's nice, but you can't really expect that on a consistent basis. I think just as a team, I kind of want to pose this as a question. And you know what? Since I'll make this my single large item as a question. I also have another one if this is not sufficient for the group here. But my question to you all is
single 2 items.
My thought is, after the last 2 games, is this Lakers team as it's currently constructed our biggest threat at their offense to our defense? Is that the biggest threat in the Western Conference?
I would say yes, because here's what's going on. They are doing to us what we did to teams early in the season when we didn't have any bigs, and what we did to teams last year as far as like our small ball lineup. I think that's what they're doing. We had Shea, we had Dub, they have LeBron, they have Luka, and they have Reeves out there. And so I think they do give us fits. It's a situation where, I think Mark just wants to see what he has with the 2 big lineup against a team like this. I think if we meet him in the playoffs, we're just gonna tread out 1 big and just play normal and maybe add Case in there into the lineup. But I do think their ability to dribble drive, drive and kick, their ability to get into the lane, their ability to make tough shots does give us fits, and it does give a defense like ours fits that is, more looking to pack the paint and then, run out to the 3-point shooters in the corners. I just think they have a collection of players that are very good at that are very good at complementing what Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves do.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I could see what you're saying, and obviously, like with guys like LeBron and Luka, especially in the playoffs, like you got to respect them as a team. I would still go back to the fact that like we definitely bounced back and we played harder tonight. But I still think we were holding back, in terms of like the cards on the table, like, the things that Mark's going to try to do. Like, again, like you were saying, like, we're probably going to go single big. Like, it's probably going to be Chet at the 5, if we play against the Lakers in the playoffs. So, like, that's a completely different look that the Lakers have, like, no film against. Like, they don't know how to counter that. Like, I think that if you have Lou Dort and Casey Wallace on the floor together with Chet Holmgren as the lone 5, like, you could do a lot more things defensively to, kind of wreck shop on the Lakers there. And also, man, like, sure, like Gabe Vincent, Dorian Finney-Smith, like Rui, like these guys are good shooters. Like, I'm not taking that away from them. What they did the last game and what they did at the start of this game, I don't think that is sustainable over a 7-game series to shoot at that clip. Like, yeah, they're probably going to make some threes, but I saw so many, like, me and Cone was just like ripping our hair out because so many people were like gloom and dooming, like the sky is falling because the Lakers just put up this historical 3-point shooting game. It's like 8 to 10 games a season, one team is not going to miss, or you're going to walk in and you're not going to miss, or you're going to walk in and the other team can't miss. And guess what? You're going to win all those games or you're going to lose all those games. So like I can't take too much away from it. Like, I have to respect the Lakers because they are well coached. They have the primetime players. I mean, led by Austin Reeves, who's apparently the best player for the Lakers at this point. The free throw merchant that you guys think Shea is.
There was that one 3. He tried to draw a foul and shooting. I think it was Kaysen that ran into him. Maybe it was Lou Dort. That was exactly what people
it felt like
does.
It felt like in the first quarter he had like 3 straight and 1 dribble drives to the basket.
Yeah, I think
Dub got him, SGA got him. Like, I think it was either 2 or 3, but yeah.
Yeah, he had 15 points in the first quarter. He matched Shea. He matched Shea for scoring in the first quarter. And he also had a targeting penalty on Jalen Williams, but there was no flag on the play. No fine coming up. So good to see for Austin Reeves. But yeah, no, like, I respect them, but yeah, in terms of like, are they our worst matchup? I don't know that I would go there. I still think that it's hard to say now because the coach is gone, but like
they've been a shell of themselves here over the past 10 games. 3-7. Like,
I mean, their defense has been the problem. I think mostly.
I think the Lakers are the team that kind of gives us the most fits.
I think thinking on the side where we're having to defend this healthy Lakers lineup, I think that's the area that I think specifically could be the biggest threat. I think on the other end, I think we'll be fine. I don't think defensively they're going to really lock us down, but I do worry because the big thing is like the kind of what you were saying, Alex, was with Luka now, and they have Braun and Vanderbilt. They have a lot of bigger wings that, like, size wise, we just don't really match up with. And you've got, and if in the situations where you do run a double big, you kind of have a situation where Chet has to sort of fill that role, which he's good at, reading. His reads defensively are good, but he can't move quite as quickly as you would want, like, a true wing to move to, like, get out and contest the 3, for example, which was a big problem today. So I think that's the where I'm coming from with that. I don't even know if I necessarily believe it. It's just sort of like a thing I've been marinating on, like what could be the biggest problem, and I think the Lakers on the offensive end could be just a thing to to marinate over as we get towards the playoffs.
Recency bias.
It's recency bias, absolutely. Everything I say is recency bias.
I'll also say, like, even though we had a better performance tonight against the Lakers, we still didn't play them as good as we could play them defensively. Like, I think
there's some mistakes for sure.
I think the second half, both teams, like, their defense, like, really locked in because, it was 80 to 72 going into halftime. Like, there wasn't a lot of defense being played early in the game. But, like, whenever the Thunder, like, really locked in defensively, like, we shut the water off. And it reminded me of the Celtics game earlier in the year. Like, we really got up for that game. And the Celtics have been killing teams from the 3-point line, just, like, mass volume of 3-point shots. I think they hit like a bunch of shots because they shot a bunch of 3-point shots against us. But as the game like wore on down in the clutch, like we just completely shut the water off. Like we was rotating, we was pre-rotating, we was contesting the corners, we was contesting the wings, we was contesting pull up. Like we had a hand in everybody's face. Like we defended perfectly against the 3-point line. And I haven't, like, even though we locked in like a little bit here in the second half, I haven't seen that same effort the past couple of games. And, you know, you can't blame the guys. Like Dub even acknowledged it after the game, last game, that it's like human nature to want to take your foot off of the gas after you like don't have a lot to play for. After you see the West, like the rest of the West is like in shambles at this point. So, I mean, you know, they kind of acknowledged it. And so it's frustrating as a fan, but like it's also encouraging because I think that they have another level, maybe even 2 more levels that they can go in the playoffs.
Here's hoping, man. Here's hoping.
Yes, sir. Alex, what is your single large item for the game?
My single large item is Dub, man. Dub had one bad game. Everybody lost their shit. And he came back today, and he did.
After he had been playing great too.
Yeah, after he'd been playing great.
The haters gotta hate.
Yeah, Dub, he played great today. 10 of 20 from the field. How many points did he have today? I don't really have a
24, 26,
26,
44 on 52% shooting.
Yeah, he was aggressive. Also, he was great defensively. I mean, as good defensively as you can be in this game. But I just thought he was that secondary playmaker for Shea. He got out there and he did his thing. He kept the team afloat when Shea was on the bench, which Shea was not on the bench for a lot in that second half. He just sat for about 3 minutes and he came back in with 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter, which is my sign that he's not going to play against Phoenix at all. But yeah, man, I thought Dub did great. I thought he came back from a not so good performance. Like he was aggressive last game and he got his free throws, but he wasn't hitting his shot, and and that kind of like dragged on as the game kind of went on. When the Thunder were trying to come back and had to keep shooting threes and had to like run a quicker offense, it kind of just like messed up his field goal percentage. But I think in this game he came in more level. He played his game, and he did what he's done all season, which is all-star level basketball. And so, yeah, man, I thought he did great, and I thought his performance, allowed the Thunder to continue to keep up with the Lakers offensively because, you needed that second, third option. If Dub was the second option, then Dort was the third option. Like you needed him to kind of keep up with that offensive engine that was humming in that first half for the Lakers. So yeah, man, he did good. It's good to see him back.
I mean,
absence apparently.
I mean, we were tied 43-43 going into the second quarter, and like obviously Shea was going nuts. The Lakers were still shooting like they were the game prior to that, and that's when Shea goes to the bench. And like to Dub's credit, like I actually want to see what he had in the second quarter. Second quarter, he had 13 points himself, right there. And like that's him and Lou Dort. Like I mean, Dort did most of his work in the first quarter, but like in terms of like the first half, like Shea like carried us. Like he was actually like he was the forefront of it all. But offensively, like Lou Dort and Jalen Williams also helped us like go shot for shot, punch for punch with the Lakers and their just absurd shooting.
I love that first quarter 3-point contest between Lou Dort and Dorian Finney-Smith.
Yeah.
It's the battle we've all been looking for. Yeah, I think there's something to be said about like a lot of people want to make this argument that it's like if Shea isn't, I mean, you could probably even lump J-Dub in there, but if Shea's not performing up to like an exceptional level, that this team is doomed. And I think there's a lot of evidence that points against that. I think, the Dort crazy first quarter and then Dub coming in the fourth quarter and hitting a couple really good shots. He didn't really have a good third quarter, but other people stepped up. Actually, not really. The third quarter was kind of bad, but they held their ground at least. But there's people in the roles that are filled within this team that sort of fit when your top guy doesn't. This isn't a great example for today because he had another 40. I think it was his 13th 40-point game. But when he doesn't have that, like there's people that can sort of fill in the gaps. And, I just don't like that people make that argument, because I feel like it's sort of taking a shot at this roster, because it is well made and very like
we're
layered
not
three-dimensionally.
fans.
We're not
We don't
Nuggets
have to-
fans.
We don't have to crap on the rest of our roster to bring up our superstar.
Yeah. So I mean, that's just all to say, like, Dub is a very big part of this, and I mean, I think you can. I think it's very clear that, like, when he isn't performing at a level that we need, that's when you can really sort of see that there's some cracks in this team. And the last game on Sunday was a great example of that. So it was a good bounce back game. The fourth quarter game that I actually got to see, he had a couple of really good shots. It was pretty much over at that point, but just to kind of keep them at bay. So just back to old J-Dub. That's what we love to see.
Yeah, and his I think he missed his first one or two shots there in the first quarter, and then Shea missed a 3, and Dub just came in unguarded, unboxed out, and just like rose up with the tip slam and the primal scream, and it had the Paycom just absolutely popping. It was great.
Yeah, there's that moment. The two moments of the night for me were that one. I didn't remember that early on, but then the other one was the one in the fourth where I don't think Dub was a part of it, but Shea had a pull-up 3, and then in the next possession, Kaysen and Dort like sort of were double teaming. I think it was Reeves, and Kaysen just sort of ripped it away and got that and one. And that to me, those two moments were like, we're here. This is playoff vibes. It's a Tuesday night. Like, it's not necessarily like a night that you're going to have a packed crowd on a regular season game, but like the vibes are clearly like we are ready for this level of intensity in a playoff game. It was very cool to see.
Yeah, I thought the turning point was the steal and layup that was goaltended there, like middle of the fourth quarter, I think. I thought that was the turning point of the game as far as like momentum goes. Like it completely shifted the game from that point.
I mean, also Luka being out was a big factor. I think that changed a lot for them. I think, but I don't think that discredits what we did too. I mean, I don't know if they necessarily get it that close, even if he's not kicked out. But
I thought that was stupid by the refs. Like, I'm a Thunder fan, and any way we can win, I'm down. But like, there should be a way. There should be cooler heads that prevail sometimes when it comes to refs. Like refs should be able to like make a call, and then like if it's clear and obvious that the person was not necessarily talking to you, that you look over and there's a fan jawing, like there should be a situation where you go, hey, rescind that tick real quick, and you're good to go. But like it just seems like referees, when they get caught up in the moment and they make that call, like there's absolutely no way that they can go back and like rescind that call and bring that person back or whatever. Like I thought that was dumb, and I think that should be something that maybe gets looked at. I don't know how you would look at it, because it's technicals are usually emotionally charged, and so these referees, they're people too, and they're they get tired of players' shit from time to time, and it's like. But that example right there should have been one where like cooler heads should have prevailed. You should have had like at least talk to the player and be like, hey, he's pointing at the fan. They're all pointing at the fan. Literally all the fans in the stands are pointing at that situation. And, that referee wanted to make it about himself. So I'm a little bit mad about that, but whatever.
I think it also like incentivizes fans a little bit, because it's like if you can
get under their skin.
Yeah, get under their skin, and then in this case, he gets kicked out because of a area of confusion. The ref didn't know who you're talking to. Then, there's certain fans that sit courtside that could be like, "Oh, this is perfect. We'll just do this every time." And then it's just a bad precedent.
I guess the lesson learned is don't get that first tech, dumbass.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the first tech was pretty bad. That's true.
Yeah, like Luka complains and whines, like more or as much as any other player in the league that is like known for their whining and stuff.
I'd say
And
he's
yeah,
top
like
one.
that's what I was gonna say. Like I don't agree with the tech. I thought it was funny because I can't stand Luka and I pray on his downfall. So like I thought it was funny, like it was good for the memes and stuff. But I agree, like it was pretty soft tech. And honestly, I thought the tech with Vando immediately after that was pretty soft as well. But
Look at us giving rational takes about a player we don't like very much.
yeah, but like like that's like I'm saying, man. Like that's part of the reason. Like I hate Lucas because he's such a whiny.
He's a
like,
very big whine
He's
baby.
so whiny and he cries all the time, and it's so annoying.
Big itty bitty crybaby.
And I was explaining to Chelsea about like players getting tech, and I use Draymond as an example. It's like because he's like the most like animated. Because he's like the biggest offender, he gets a longer leash than everybody. And Luka's the same way.
It's the Draymond effect. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Luka's not as aggressive as Draymond or anything like that, but like he's constantly looking at the refs, shrugging, like guffawed. It's nuts. So yeah. Anywho, getting back to the game, we talked about Dub. I would say, like, not single large item. I just want to say, like, one of the biggest difference between this game and the past two games is a couple players from our bench actually showed up, and that was huge for us. And shout out to our guys, Cookies and Cream, the bald-headed demon and All-State, Casey Wallace, Alex Caruso, just being absolute menaces on the defensive end. Putting in work on the offensive end as well. Caruso with his transition, his cutting.
Got that.
Casey Wallace, obviously, same thing with transition.
How is that not a shirt yet?
I mean, hey, I didn't coin Cookies and Cream. I don't remember who did, but I think
we got to figure that out.
I think it's amazing.
That's really good.
Caruso actually absolutely cooked LeBron like one possession too. Like he got it on the wing. Drove into him, danced on him a little bit, and then he pulled a Dirk fadeaway, just absolute like money over him. It was great. And I said this in a tweet, like, Caruso, like he's kind of streaky. Like there's like even tonight, like he started out really hot and he had a couple plays, he missed some bunnies, he had a couple turnovers, he had some dumb fouls. But when he is on, he changes everything for this team. And it's got me so excited to see him for the playoffs. And I'm happy for Kaysen, to finally have a good game because he had a couple bad games over the past two against the Rockets and the Warriors. And again, we're like a different team whenever Kaysen Wallace is contributing at a high level for this team. And I think, again, in the playoffs, I think that Kaysen is probably that fifth starter for us, if we match up against the Lakers or, some other team in the Western Conference. I think that we go small ball 5 in case and gets that fifth starter role. And I think he's a lot more comfortable with that too.
Yeah. The bread and butter is the defense of this team. That's where you're going to win. We've been putting up historic numbers all season. You need to win the turnover battle and just lock teams up defensively. And it starts with those guys and, obviously Lou as well. So, when they have good games like this, not necessarily offensively they did, but when they're just like everywhere on defense, it's I don't know what the percentage is, but it's got to be upward like 95% win rate when those two are getting like multiple steals a game.
Yeah, and combined they have 5 tonight.
Yeah.
Shout out to Hartstein who locked down the boards tonight.
Rim protection.
Was it 8 and 15, 8 points, 15 boards?
He was a fiend.
Yep.
And then that amazing block on Connect, like, get that shit out of here.
I think that to me was the turning point. I think that one.
Right, he did.
Yeah, I think that block in the fourth was the turning point for me. Like, vibes wise, that's when it was like, yeah, this is over.
He does bleed. LeBron does bleed.
Also had his customary 4 assists as well. Just absolutely cooking with the heart hub. So yeah, love Isaiah Hartenstein. He's been a huge addition for us, and he stepped up in a huge way tonight. I saw a lot of people complain about Chet. Honestly, I think Chet played really well in the first quarter. I thought he played good in the first half. it was really in the second half where things started to kind of fall off a little bit in terms of like missing some shots. But like I like his process a lot more. Like I was talking to Cone on the last podcast, the last time we played the Lakers. I think he shot 6 shots. Like he had double that tonight, which he shot 5 of 12, which isn't a great percentage, but like I want him taking 12 field goal attempts. I want him being aggressive. I want him to play with confidence. And it feels like it kind of swung more that direction tonight. So even though the percentages wasn't there, he still had some huge plays tonight. He had a couple blocks. He had some really nice finishes. Like he's had some really nifty finishes here lately. Also had a nice sidestep 3, hit another 3 earlier in the game. So like there was some moments, there were some flashes. Again, like this is him completely learning on the fly how to play the not only play the 4 in the NBA, but play the 4 in general. Like he's been a 5 his entire life, and we're asking him to do this for the betterment of the team, at least in the short term, just so we have something else to throw at teams. But yeah, shout out Chet. I thought he played well for a big part of the game, even though he didn't close.
I think his big games have come whenever he's the only center out there.
Yeah, I think it's weird because like sometimes the two-man lineup or 2 big man lineup, they flow so well together in some games, and then others it's just like it just looks so clunky. And someone smarter than me is probably going to say there's like a defensive matchup that's going on there. I don't know, but it's so inconsistent.
I'll say this: the Evan Mobley, Jared Allen combination didn't really start clicking until like this season. Like it took them like 2 or 3 seasons to kind of learn how to work with somebody like Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland out there. And so, and they've become an offensive machine out there, just kind of like the big passing and passing out to the wing for open threes. Like I think you need time to develop that. You need time to develop that kind of chemistry. And that is the one thing that we have not had this season with all the injuries is time in game to develop chemistry for certain situations.
Yeah, those offensive adjustments. I think that's where our Hartenstein is. I think more experience because it feels like anything we've thrown at him, at least offensively, he's been able to just gel with pretty quickly. I think Chet, especially since like Dylan said, he's never played the 4. I think there's growing pains there, and it may not even be till next season that we fully figure this out. But I trust Mark will know when to do it and when not to do it in a playoff situation. So
yeah, I heard also had 6 offensive rebounds tonight. The Thunder won the turnover battle 6-18.
Yeah, that was great.
That's
the bread and butter. That's what you need. That's the winning formula of this team.
The cookies and cream right there.
The cookies and cream.
Yes, the cookies and cream. This shout out to Shane Young NBA on Twitter. I need to find the tweet. Oh yeah, history is made with tonight's win being a double-digit win. The Thunder set the record for the most double-digit wins in a season with 51. So another
historical
dominance.
That and I think we set the record as a franchise for wins in a season. I think the record was 64.
Oh, we beat that. Yeah.
65. And then, that was a big topic of discussion amongst the team after the game tonight. They was talking to Dub about potentially making the All-NBA because he has a very real chance at making one of those 13 All-NBA spots. And he's like, I haven't really thought about it. 65 wins is much more important to me. So shout out to the
Good
guys
answer,
who maintain the main thing. So.
Good answer, Dub. Good answer.
With that being said, let's go ahead and go to a break to hear a word from our sponsors. When we come back, we're going to talk about some news that happened around the league here recently, and also just have a little fun with the whole jaw antics right after a word from our sponsors. And we're back after a word from our sponsors, guys. We talked about the Thunder's bounce back victory against the Los Angeles Lakers, but we have to talk about something else that happened in the West today. Tonight, the Denver Nuggets absolutely just cleaned shop.
Crazy.
First, it was announced that they fired Mike Malone, the head coach, the best head coach in Denver Nuggets history, won them a title literally 2 seasons ago, and has been there since Emmanuel Mudiay was a Denver Nugget. Let that
Jesus
sink
Christ.
in since Emmanuel Mudiay was there. And they also
did he coach Melo?
I don't
no,
think so.
Moutier
George
was
Crowell was there with
there.
Melo's there.
Yeah.
And then immediately afterwards, they announced that they fired their general manager, Calvin Booth. A lot of things are coming out about why it happened. All of it more hilarious than the next. Fellas, your thoughts as a Thunder fan, and we'll go to Alex first because he might have to go in a little bit.
My first thought is that Russell Westbrook is somehow going to get blamed for all this.
Yes. He is our goat. He is their scapegoat.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah, he's our goat, and he's been the scapegoat everywhere he's gone ever since then. I think that, I believe he lost the locker room. Like, I think there are some coaches, such as Tom Thibodeau, that Larry Brown back in the day, that they're good with their team for like the first couple of seasons, and then after that, they're the same rhetoric and the same style of coaching kind of starts to grind on people's gears. And I just think that there just came a point where the struggles of the Nuggets, which the Nuggets have had ebbs and flows, but they've had like high ebbs. Like, it's been like they've had win streaks, and they've had portions of the season where they've looked like almost unbeatable. And then they've had portions where, like, especially like the beginning of the season, where it looked like what's going on with Jokic, is he out of shape, blah blah blah. And so these last 10 games where they're 3-7, I just think that it may have been the straw that broke the camel's back. And then also the turmoil that goes on within the coaching ranks and the front office. Like, it seems like there was a lot
I think it's most of that. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of turmoil between the front office, the ownership group, and the coaching staff. And I just think, at a certain point, if you are having fits with your boss, but you're not if you're performing, they'll find, somehow, some way to make it work. But at a certain point, if you're not performing, and if, let's say, the team around you is not necessarily responding to you anymore, and the product on the floor is not necessarily resulting in victories and things like that, there comes a point where, you got to cut the cord.
So
my biggest surprise was the timing of it all.
Yeah.
Like, damn, bro, like, you're in 2 weeks, you'll be, you're either going to be playing in a play-in tournament here in a couple days, or you're going to be in the playoffs in about 2 weeks. So it
makes the Grizzlies look smart.
Yeah.
A little bit.
They have a week head start.
But yeah, that's my thought on it.
Before we jump into like any other speculation, I do think so. Matt Moore, Hardwood Paroxysm,
friend of the pod,
put out a really good little
Yes.
article, and I think that, to me, was the most convincing, because he's a little bit more in the know and has sources. And what I think it was, well, first of all, based off everything that happened, I think Mike Malone got absolutely screwed. I don't think he was a big issue, or as big as things seem to, or people seem to be making out to be. What it seems like is the GM, from what is in this article, was not very good at handling like coach, quote unquote, egos or player ego, or people in the front office, and managing those sort of people. He was just really good at player, spotting talent. And so there came a point, apparently, where he was interested in like player X, and Mike Malone was interested in player Y. And there ended up being, because this general manager couldn't really communicate well, ended up being this huge sort of unnecessarily toxic relationship that formed. And the entire organization, from what he says in the article, was that you're either team Malone or you're team Chris. I think that was his first name. But you're the team GM or you were team head coach.
Calvin.
And I think the reason why both were simultaneously fired was because they basically were like, this is too toxic. We have everyone on one side of this made up aisle, and we have to get rid of the aisle here. We have to like be a cohesive team. And I guess I don't really know why they decided to wait until now. I guess there was probably one thing in particular that affected that, but I think it mostly falls to, and from my perspective and from the sources that I read in that article, that this was the GM not doing a very good job of making his wishes known and being on the same side as his head coach, and instead sort of like talking behind, like not being confrontational about it, and instead sort of being passive aggressive. And it just led to just this whole weird relationship. And now Mike Malone, because they have to split, the front office can't like pick sides. Both of them have to leave. So Mike Malone, I think, got screwed in all of this. And one other thing I did want to mention, like people were saying, like, you know, Jokic must hate him because he wouldn't let them fire his coach. I think both things. There's two things that can be true at the same time. I think Jokic as a player and a competitor, it's clear that he's very annoyed and upset with this season, despite the fact that he's having one of the best seasons in NBA history. But at the same time, he also probably doesn't want his coach that he's grown up with and grown into a superstar with to leave. But I think if you are a player, and Jokic, I think, sees this as a business, not as like a personal thing. If the higher ups come and say, "Hey, we're thinking about doing this," I don't think he's necessarily going to like fight tooth and nail for him, because in his eyes as a competitor, it's a chance at something new. And if there is all this toxicity, it's also a chance to just wipe that clean and go into a playoffs where you presumably expect they're still trying to compete. So I don't think it's a situation where like Jokic wanted him out or Jokic is happy. I think it's just the fact of the situation. It's the business. It's all of this toxicity that's been happening. And it just came down to like, that was the only option that they felt like they had. So again, I still think Mike Malone got screwed. Whoever's going to get him as a coach, presumably very quickly, is a very lucky team because he is very good. And yeah, it just sucks. It would be the most surprising situation if this wasn't Luka traded to the Lakers year, but now it's the second most surprising.
Yeah, I mean, Jokic coming out that Jokic has been disappointed with the team's defensive effort is very much like the SpongeBob meme of where he's like looking for the criminal and the wanted poster is behind him and it's literally SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Like it's very much that situation. And then I saw something come out that said that Calvin Booth wanted to Malone to play Jalen Pickett over Russell Westbrook because he drafted Jalen Pickett.
That's the thing, is like it was clear that like he had this sort of mindset of, I want my players that I draft to develop faster. But if you're Mike Malone and you just want a title, why would that be the formula? You play the guys who are currently championship level team players, and allocate a little bit of time for them. So they clearly weren't on the same page, and it's just like, and to me, the way I see it from the Thunder perspective is Sam Presti and Mark Daigneault have probably been on two different pages sometimes in their careers so far as head coach and GM. But I'm willing to bet that Sam Presti is socially capable of recognizing, hey, we need to come together and openly communicate these differences and figure it out. Whereas I think in the Denver side, he was just like, I'm just going to keep passively aggressively asking you to do this and never actually bringing it up, which is just toxicity 101. So I think that's where it's like the GM kind of just completely tanked their team in terms of vibes. And now it's gotten to the point where it's actually causing jobs and probably a championship, for being honest.
Man, I would go as far to say that I don't even know that there's been situations where Presti and Daigneault have disagreed on how to run this team.
Maybe
I think
not.
that they've got a mind meld. They've been lockstep from jump ever since Sam hired Daigneault. I feel like there's been a plan in place, and
that's probably a bad example too, because Mike Malone is just so much more tenured, and
Mm-hmm.
But I think hypothetically though, the point like if it happened later down the road, I still can't imagine a world where Presti wouldn't just be like, hey, let's talk this through.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. You cut me mid yawn. Sorry.
I tried. I should have filibustered.
No, you're fine. Of the like kind of leftovers of this, feel blessed to have such a stable
Yes, that's all I was thinking.
Head coach relationship with Mark Daignault and Sam Presti and Clay Bennett as well as the owner.
Hashtag blessed.
Feel very blessed to have the 2027 and 2029 Denver first in our war chest of draft.
Great point.
And also, Denver could low key end up in the play-in. Even before this happened, obviously there's this like huge arms race in the like middle of the Western Conference, and there was like a 5-way tie going into tonight. So
yeah, it's very fluctuating.
The Timberwolves lost, the Grizzlies won, the Clippers probably going to win. They're playing the Spurs. The Warriors are definitely winning against the Suns. I think they're up like 35 going into the third quarter. So that is going to put Denver tied with the Grizzlies, Clippers, and Warriors for the 4-7 spot, and with the Wolves right behind them. Going into tomorrow night. And the next 3 games, the Nuggets don't have we're about to play the Suns, the Pelicans, the Jazz to end the season. It doesn't get much easier than that.
Yeah.
The Nuggets are going to have the Kings, the Grizzlies, and the Rockets.
Kings 3-game winning streak, I think it is. They're hot.
They are 3-game winning streak, yes. And they just beat the Cavs. This is a team that is highly potent offensively. They got a lot of weapons on the offensive end. This is the first game after you fired your coach. You kind of have to see how it goes. But Grizzlies, right there in the thick of it, fighting for their playoff lives. The Rockets, they've kind of locked up the 2 seed at this point. It could be a situation where they're not playing guys there at the end of the season. But if they are, they have a very good team. They just beat us. They are one of the hottest in the league. They're on a 3-game win streak themselves. I think they've lost 2 games in the last 20 something.
Yeah, they've been red hot. Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see what the Nuggets can do with this huge change in mind. But you want
to know a quick fun fact to wrap this up?
Yeah, for sure.
If the playoffs started today, 25% of the playoff teams would have a head coach that's been there for less than 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
And even more so, currently, the first round would be the Grizzlies and the Nuggets, both with brand new head coaches. That's wild. It's so wild that a quarter of the teams in the first round of the playoffs just have brand new coaches. We just swapped them out.
You want to know another fun fact?
Yes.
Well, it's not there, so give me a second and I'll tell you. Filibuster.
Wow,
you're awful at this.
Gosh, I had so much to say at the beginning, and now I don't have any other things to say.
All right, it's fine. I got it.
Hashtag blessed. That's all.
Yeah. What else is a fun fact is Shea right now has as high as minus 10,000 odds for MVP. It is over. It is wrapped tonight. In the last game the Nuggets played, Jokic had a 40-point triple-double, and they still lost.
What were the odds before the firing? How much did it actually jump up because of that news?
It hasn't changed much at this point. I don't think it's going to fluctuate much more.
I was just wondering if the season. I was wondering if because he was minus 5,000 at one point, so I was wondering if there was a jump before today and after today, but I guess not.
I will say FanDuel has been pretty steady on minus 10,000 the past few days, but all the other ones have kind of been around minus 5,000, 4,000, 3,000, whatever. Caesar Sportsbook has also jumped to minus 10,000 at this point. So
for those that don't gamble, in order to win $100, you would have to bet $10,000 for Shea to win the MVP. That's how much Vegas is we're not willing to give you money. You have to bet $10,000, and then we'll give you $100. So if you bet $100, which is a little bit more normal, you would get what? $1? It's crazy.
Yeah, that is nuts, man. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and end the podcast with a fun little segment. Shout out John Morant. Obviously, he's had his struggles with the guns and the fines for doing gun-like celebrations, and I'm to the point where like I would be annoyed if I was a Grizzlies fan, if I was a Ja fan. Like I think it is kind of annoying that they keep like doing all this extra stuff for it. But he got creative tonight, and after he made his three, he didn't do the gun celebration or anything like that. He threw a grenade to the bench and then covered his ears as it happened. And
I love that.
I just want to say, like, tip of the hat, Morant. Like that is masterful. And we're gonna go ahead and kind of expound on that. Let's brainstorm some additional ideas. Oh, Alex is here for this.
I'm so glad he's back because I wanted him to be a part of this conversation.
Alex, did you hear the tee up?
No,
I think you might have missed it.
All right, Ja Morant. Yeah, so he got in trouble. He got not suspended. He got fines. Yeah, for the gun celebration after he hit his three. Tonight he got in his innovation bag, Alex, when he made a three.
Oh my gosh, what did he do?
Took his hand, pulled the pin, threw a grenade at the bench, and covered his ears as he backed up down the court.
I love it. I love it, dude. I love how he's leaning into this because I think it's so silly that
because everybody in the NBA does it.
Yeah. Like who cares? It's not like, oh, the children who the children see so much online these days that are like real guns and like real things. Who cares if someone does it as a celebration? It's not meant to actually mean they're going to kill you literally. It's just like, hey, I shot you down metaphorically speaking in that play I just did. Or like I slingshot it or whatever. It's like, it's so stupid. So the fact that not only has he been continuing to do the gun thing, but now he's just like ramping it up. And Dylan, you and I were talking about this, and Alex, I would like to pull you into the conversation. We, as a collective podcast, need to brainstorm what he can do to continue to ramp this up. Like if he like pretended to get into a tank
without doing gun motions,
stay away
from the finger guns,
or a rocket launcher, and he like held a rocket launcher, and
that's nice, a bazooka,
jerked back when he shot it. Those things he just needs to do one up every single time. That's my proposal for him.
That's I don't know, man. That's a good one. That's as far as one upping himself, that's something that's going to lead him into suspension really quick. But
can you imagine if Adam Silver was like, no more rocket launcher celebrations,
no more grenades,
Well, you cannot do grenade, and they have to keep doing it every iteration of a different weapon that they use. I mean, you can't do this one now.
Eventually, he has to get into a jet, right?
Yeah, like just
eventually he has to fly around.
What if all five of the players on the court started like doing like transformer robots where they like some of them like kneel down and like make a vehicle for him to
a Devastator
drive on.
I need him to do one where he's just like packing the gunpowder into a musket.
Yeah, like old school.
Let's throw it back real quick.
American Revolution. He shoots it once and then spends like 30 seconds reloading it.
Just like does this, like he stabbed you with the bayonet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, there's no finger guns. I'm just stabbing them with a bayonet.
Have a javelin.
Have water guns on the bench.
Yeah, actually that would be worse in my opinion than air guns. Like that's actually may look like a gun.
No, my favorite one. My favorite one that Tierney brought up, Alex, is him just going like full Iron Man. Like he makes a three, and just like there's a lot of different things you could do. You could like do the like palm jets.
Yeah, he's like floating around.
You could throw it to Marvel Rivals and just go maximum pulse.
Yeah. Or like if he like he makes several $1 million a year. And the scene in which movie was it? I think it was Endgame, where like Iron Man has the thing where he like pushes, he just like taps his chest and then like his whole body starts turning into like the Iron Man suit. Like if he could spend the money to make that happen,
where
he just like taps his jersey and he's just Iron Man now.
Or he's just like the photons from his hand.
Yeah, just like he actually gets Iron Man stuff on him.
It'd be great if Adam Silver was just like,
Someone in
you
the
can no
chat said-
longer be Iron Man.
One of the chats said water balloons. It's another option.
There we
It's
go.
caused total chaos. You wouldn't be able to play for like
No. Here's
Several
what it is.
minutes.
Here's what it is. Orbeez bullets. Have you guys ever played with
Orbeez.
Orbeez bullets?
yeah, those
seen them.
hurt. Those hurt like
Those
a
hurt,
dick.
but they're not dangerous at all.
No, they're
So
not.
unless they get into your eye, unless they you shoot them in somebody's eye, but
Oh, straw in the pocket for a spitball. Michael B in the chat. That's a good one.
Very nice. I mean, shoot, you got Jamal Murray. Like he's shooting bow and arrow. Like that's
That's
definitely
weaponry.
that can be deadly.
That's weaponry.
Absolutely could be.
Kaysen keeps his in his in the.
Hey, he keeps it holstered though, man.
Keeps
He
it
doesn't
holstered,
pull it
yeah.
out. He knows he knows what to do. He's just letting you know he's got that thing on.
It's conceal and carry. It's legal, I think, in Oklahoma. Yeah. There's a lot of options. We just need to put together a good solid list. Or slingshot as well was put in there as
Or he could
slingshot
go
is a
like
misdemeanor.
Let's get biblical on him.
he needs to go full anime and do the Kamehameha. Like he needs to
Dragon Ball Z.
that'd be a sick. That would be a sick 3-point celebration. I'm just telling you.
Or like in
Fighter,
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Ken and Ryu. Hadouken.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull that out next to my hoop.
They'll be like, what?
What is this old guy doing?
It is crazy. Like there are other people that do the gun thing. Like he's the only one that
Everybody does.
It's so stupid. It's the same in the NFL too. Like it's so dumb that like there. What's the what is it? Key and Peele. Have you guys seen that skit where the NFL refs like they're not allowed to do like the hip thrust celebration? So the guys in the end zone celebrating and the refs just like watching him as closely as he can until he actually does it and throws it. It's the same thing with like the gun stuff and both the NFL and with Jaw. It's like they're like watching. It's like, don't do it. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do it, and then it's such a silly little thing. But
no, I think I figured it out. So like Mikal Bridges, when he makes the three, he does the thing where he stares down his teammate, and then he does like the head thing, but he never fires the weapon. The issue is Jaw is firing the weapon.
So you can arm and
you can brandish it.
Brandish it.
Yeah.
And you do not pull the trigger.
You just can't pull it out. You just
what if he shoots it up? Like a cowboy.
Warning shot.
Yeah, like not at somebody, just up, like a little, rodeo cowboy. Yeehaw.
It didn't work too well for what's his name, Philip Hamilton.
Oh, he did that.
Oh yeah.
Dang.
He threw away a shot.
Yep.
Shoot. Maybe that's not a good one. Well,
dang.
If you're watching Hamilton, if you're watching this post live podcast, put in the chat your ideas. We'd love to hear them. In the comment section, I guess. If you're on our podcast, tweet at us.
He just needs to do. He needs to get one of his teammates to do a duel with him.
Oh, a Mexican a Mexican standoff. Get two of his teammates, and they all like. Or
the office scene.
The office scene, yeah. It's all like, nobody move.
I mean, what if you just like did this with your hands, and so like what it is? Everybody knows what it is, but like it's not finger gun.
Everyone knows this, but if it's three fingers, right? Like, is that a gun? Or if it's four, if it's just a hand,
Or turn it around.
Turn it around. Like the Matrix.
Or I think do the curvy bullet thing from Wanted.
Oh, from Wanted, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bazooka Joe. Yeah,
I've never seen that movie. Actually, some of that.
You've never seen Wanted?
Mm-mm.
Bro,
I've seen parts of it.
Next movie you see has to be that one.
Next movie I see is kind of crazy.
McAvoy is amazing in that movie.
Oh, McAvoy's always amazing.
Morgan Freeman, like they're all good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, since the pod's kind of over, and I just want to have you guys seen The Menu?
I love that movie. People don't like it, but it's so good too. I love it.
I had no idea what I was getting myself into.
It's so good, dude.
It just kept escalating, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
It's just like the epitome of fine dining, and like every single trope of like a fine dining person is in it. It's chef kiss.
What's the correlation of that and The Bear? Like when they came out?
I think it was kind of just a coincidence. I don't know if that was related. I don't think the director. I don't remember who it was, but I don't think he was like related to the show. T in the chat says it's an okay movie, dude. That's an incorrect take. It's a great movie.
He said the comic was far better. The Menu was a comic?
I didn't know it was a comic, to be honest.
That's nuts.
I
Or is he talking about Wanted?
Wanted. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Wanted. Oh, Wanted's an okay movie.
I was like, that's an unhinged comic for somebody to just sit down and read.
I agree. Wanted. It's a pretty okay movie, but in terms of like when it was released, it's a slap.
Okay.
It's a good bad movie.
Exactly. I mean, it's not a bad movie. Like, it's just like
there's like bad movies that you rewatch because they're fun.
Not okay. So not everybody wants to watch like, South by Southwest or whatever, like cinema classics or what.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just want a popcorn flick that has a lot of action in it.
Turn your brain off.
Fake physics, in it. So yeah.
That's like every Fast and Furious movie. It's just like a bunch of just stuff is happening, and you're just like, yeah, this is pretty cool.
By the way, Alex,
Exactly.
I finally watched Brave New World.
It's good.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, I
Exactly.
enjoyed it. I think it got overhated. There was one scene, like there at the end, you could tell it was a reshoot just because like the effects was kind of but like otherwise, I thought it was a very well put together movie.
I enjoyed what's his name in the Serpentine Society? What's his name?
Oh, Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah, Giancarlo. Yeah,
Gus Fring.
Yeah, Gus Fring. Yeah, I enjoyed him as I don't know what his character was, but yeah, I enjoyed him.
Sidewinder.
Sidewinder. There we go.
Do
the
you
second
guys
Sidewinder in Marvel TV and cinematic universe?
Oh yeah, it'd be fun.
My TikTok algorithm is just small snippets of movies, and I have watched probably in the last like 6 months, like 3 full movies. Just whenever I get on TikTok and like watch the individual clips, and I'll like come back to it. I feel like that's how I found out about The Menu too. And there's so many like good bad movies like that you'll just get on TikTok and you'll see like the interesting clip and be like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then you just watch the whole thing.
You know what I hate about that is you do that and you go to the comment section to try to figure out what the movie is, and you can't find anything.
Yes, the best trend that's been happening because I've been a part of this community. It used to not like be like this. They would just tell you the movie. Now if there is any movie with Matt Damon, every comment will be like, wow, I love Good Will Hunting, even though it's clearly not Good Will Hunting. And that's one of my favorite trends on TikTok is people intentionally telling you the wrong movie just to try to like confuse you so you can't find it. Very, very funny.
That's just rude to me, if you ask me.
I love it. It's it tickles me fancy.
Bro, Tierney, did you? Well, yeah, you watched the Severance finale, right? Yeah. It happened whenever we were there.
I cried,
bro.
When I watched it, I cried.
I had to drop a Severance bar tonight because we didn't talk about it, but Jared Vanderbilt let out some frustration.
We didn't.
With that foul against Jalen Williams.
That was highly unnecessary.
I said there was a lot of malice in that foul there, Vando. You need to tame those tempers.
That's good. I love the way they talk. It's very like, I don't even know how to like describe it. Like royal and stoic. The way they
Alex, you got to tap into Severance, man.
You've got like, how are you if you not watched Severance? Every human being,
Bro,
I know.
I don't think you realize how little time I have in my life.
Like I'm looking at your desk right now. It looks like you're at the MDR department.
You do look like you're.
Oh, I have no idea what that is.
Like, can you pan left and let me see Irving? It's been a while.
Yep. Milkshake is right there at the waffle party.
Oh no, Milkshake's up there just messing it up now. He just
wow.
Doing a little.
On that note, I have to go.
Milkshake's awesome. But yeah, no, the Thunder are a great team. People freaked out after the Lakers lost. We're not going to overreact after the Lakers win, but like this is very much more like it. This is more like the team that we have come to know and love. And as we mentioned, we had 3 games left. They're against subpar opponents. The Phoenix Suns just got obliterated by the Warriors. We play the Pelicans. Their entire team is decimated. And we play the Jazz, who we'll see what's happening with them. They could be feisty on any given night, but I think they've been sitting a lot of their guys, just kind of playing rookies and younger guys too. So those should be pretty easy games. Nevertheless, I'm trying to
Late games, by the way, just a little
Are
PSA to all
they?
you out there.
God
Very
damn
late
it.
games. Buckle in, everybody.
Oh yeah,
Buckle
we
in.
play the
Except for
Suns
Sunday.
tomorrow
Yeah.
at 9 p.m. CST.
I will very likely miss the end of that game and watch
we-
it later.
We play the Jazz at 8:30 CST on Friday. We'll be coming to you live for the post game on that.
Mhm.
And then
Sunday afternoon.
2:30 game. Yeah.
Everyone's either noon or 2:30. It's the last
Okay,
day
yeah,
of the
now.
season.
Yeah, we are 2:30 p.m. CST. So that will be a fun set of games. And then we just gotta wait a week. We get to rest, we get to recuperate, we get to lick our wounds, we get to enjoy
Watch the
some
plan.
we're going to enjoy some unbiased basketball to see who our opponent is going to be in the first round.
Mhm.
Fellas, kind of ending the podcast. This is me and Cone kind of talked about it, but if you were going to pick your first round opponent based on realistically, what the team could be, how the playing scenario could play out, who would your first round opponent be besides the Kings? You can't say the Kings. I'm sorry.
Give me the
Your
Mavericks.
Kings would be. Yeah, I was gonna. If it wasn't the Kings,
they're
it'd be,
feisty, dude. Like, I like what I see, as far as being like a 10th seed type team.
Mhm.
They're very feisty. Anthony Davis, on any night he can give you, 35 and like 15 type, a type night. They still have their two centers and PJ Washington, and they have no guards. Nothing that really scares anybody as far as in the guard territory or in the wings. But yeah, man, just give me them.
Yeah, I mean, Kings is obviously number one. Mavs is it's probably second. They're completely different now than they were last year for obvious reasons, not just Luka, but a lot of.
I mean,
their
literally,
size.
it could be Denver in the first
Yeah,
round.
yeah, that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I'd prefer not Denver. I mean, but
I mean, like the Clippers are going to win tonight. Probably
it could be like
Yeah.
6 teams still. It's so hard to
there's
tell.
going to be 4 teams with a 47-32 record.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a mess down there.
It is a mess.
But
let me ask you guys this: between the, I think we'll exclude the Lakers. I think they've kind of set themselves apart at this point. But between the Nuggets, Warriors, Clippers, Wolves, Grizzlies, which team would you rather see in the first round?
I think we match up pretty well with the Grizz, to be honest.
Yeah, I think the Grizzlies.
I think that'd be a really fun series too. Like maybe
Yeah,
not like as competition, but just like fun basketball. I think it'd be really
I
fun.
think Ja just cannot figure out our defense, and I think he'll just get very frustrated.
He's been playing a lot better, and he's gonna bring out that Iron Man suit. So
That's true. We just gave him a whole bunch of ideas for weapons. I don't know if you want to see those.
I love it. Well, hey, people in the chat, I appreciate you guys tapping in, celebrating with us after this big victory. Go ahead and like the video if you have not already. Comment down below what Ja's next celebration should be, who your ideal play-in opponent will be. And until then, we will be back on Friday talking about the Suns and the Jazz games. And hopefully Dolan will be on here. Shout out Dolan. He was supposed to be on last podcast. Had something come up. And of course, me and Cone kind of talked about why we couldn't do it on Friday either. So we're trying to get back in the swing of things just for our schedule to be completely wrecked. Guys, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, as I told them, covering every Thunder game, post game into the playoffs. So it's gonna be a fun time. So you definitely want to keep it here. Subscribe if you're not already. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out when we go live. And until then, I hope everybody has not just a great night, have a phenomenal night.
Wow.
God bless. Hoop when you can. And as always,